What up, y'all? It's your man Abuamerican, cowife.com. Get over there and sign up before we launch, which ain't long. Abuamerican/shop. You know the deal. More products, inshallah, coming in 2022. So, nice bike, inshallah. So anyway, recently I made a video, talking about women in the truth, and they don't want the truth. And I guess it's correct. They want the truth, but they don't want full disclosure. And I forgot that saying. It's an important one. But it brought me to further contemplation, which is that in general, you can't tell the truth to someone who's already delusional about the truth. And when we look at modern women, not all obviously, we don't want to generalize, but when we look at a good portion of modern Western women, delusion is the status quo. They're not honest with themselves. So how can it be the case that they're going to deal with honesty from you in a good way? Classic example. I've been testing matrimonial apps, dating apps, whatever else, just, so that we have something different, something better, something superior to everything that's out there on the market with cowife.com. Now, I'm not really looking for anybody or anything, but I am testing. And what I'm running across is a lot of women out there that are completely delusional about the reality of themselves. It's not to brag. I'm at the peak position in my life right now. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma barak. Alhamdulillah. Women who are in less than ideal situations, it's not even ideal. They're in less than deplorable, horrible situations. It's like, yo, wow, you made all the bad choices. Probably, out there looking for Mr. White Knight to ride in, save the day for them, rescue them from all their problems, all their worries, and all their stress. Whatever the case may be, they're looking for that guy. Do you know what I'm seeing out here? And this is really bad again amongst our sisters, unfortunately. Sisters out here on matrimonial apps. And you know my opinion on women over 40 on matrimonial apps. Man, what the heck did you do? How did you make such bad decisions in life that you ended up over 40 on a matrimonial app? Make sisters out there, if you're watching this, make a male profile and look at your competition. Especially you 40-year-old sisters. Listen, if you ain't out there crawling on hands and knees, begging for a brother to pick you up as a third wife, you're delusional. Go look at the competition. But anyway, this brings me to my point. We got sisters out here, 50 plus years old. They're contacting me. A bunch of kids talking about she's not going to go into polygyny. She's not going to accept polygyny. Do you know how delusional with real life you have to be in order to think that you're going to set conditions with a man? At 50 plus years old, a bunch of kids from some other dude, nothing to offer, but making all the demands. I want this, you gotta have this, you get blah, 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 your life's gotta be yada, yada, you gotta have a car, house, yada, yada. Making mad demands with absolutely nothing to offer the man. You don't have anything. Hey, if you were 51 and you could offer your virginity, you might be onto something, but you don't even have that. You have nothing to offer the man but a bunch of bills, a bunch of higher costs, a bunch of demands, some other dude's kids. Do you know how delusional a person has to be to think that they're coming to a relationship with a position of power to make demands like that? Now, you might say, okay, Abuamerican, that's not all the sisters out there. No, it's not. But the vast majority of the sisters, they're not really out. You can cut that age in half. You can knock a good 30 years off that. The average 20-year-old isn't really much better. She might not have all the kids. She might have her virginity intact. We'll go with the premise that she does. She's never been married. She's never gave up the cookie. She obviously, because she didn't give up the cookie, she still got her virginity intact. So she's in a more powerful position in terms of negotiating with a man on what she is or is not going to accept in terms of marriage. She still doesn't really bring anything to the table. She still has nothing but a bunch of demands, a bunch of wants, some crazy high maher that no matter what she is, unless she's there's nothing that warrants that high of a maher that they're demanding. So she comes with just a bunch of negatives for you as a man. You go into the relationship taking an L. You come out, the first year is a net loss for you, and it's a pure net gain for her. Why aren't more women in crypto? You'd figure like the way they trading and going back and forth, the way they be coming out of these marriage negotiations with all these wins, they should be in crypto and just making loads of money, because they're doing it with brothers. Brothers is their investment program, and they're just making wins left and right. So don't be that sucker. Don't be that sucker, guys. That's what you are. You're a sucker. So anyway, because you're getting married, man. You're not like buying something, and you're not. And if you do buy something, I hope it's something that at least gives you something, not just takes away from your life. And that's what a vast majority of sisters do. They come in and they take away from your life. Now, I'm not trashing our sisters. Don't misunderstand me here. We got sisters, they come into a man's life and they offer value. They bring value. Alhamdulillah, barakallahu feet to you sisters. Y'all the MVPs, y'all the most valued players. May Allah continue to increase you both in your lives and increase you types of sisters in numbers in the ummah. And may you sisters have brothers that are appropriately matched to you in this deen and in this dunya. I mean, but most sisters ain't bringing anything to the table. They don't bring anything spectacular but a bunch of nagging and a bunch of wants and demands. Delusional. They're looking at these brothers making all this money, demanding things from these brothers that they themselves can't offer themselves. I want a 80,000 mahr. Okay, you got 8,000 in the bank? I always tell the story of my jiu-jitsu coach and his Moroccan ex-wife. And when he sent her back to Morocco, after she came and she saw how he was living there, doing really well, she started making all sorts of demands. And when he sent her back, because she's getting ridiculous, he was trying to get his wife back. Of course, he loved the woman. And she was on the phone with him, and she's like, well, if I come back, I want a BMW. And he's like, you ain't even got a driver's license. What are you gonna do with a BMW? And he said, do this. He said, go outside, go to the window and look outside the window. And he said, you looking out the window? She's like, yeah. He's like, is there a BMW out there? She's like, no. He said, your dad didn't get you a BMW. Why are you making demands of something you don't even have? Your family don't have a car. Because he went and visited her in Morocco. He says, you left a 8-bedroom villa, courtyard, everything, and you sharing a room with like 7 other women, her sisters. Delusional. You can't speak the truth to people who are in a state of delusion, in constant delusion. You think that's not enough? Let's continue. Fake up. Fake up. How many of these sisters out there you seen they real regular? I know, because I've been married to some. They real regular without makeup. But then they got so good at makeup that they can turn themselves into a different person. You look at me like, dang, that's a different girl, man. Is that the girl I married? MashaAllah. Then you just take off makeup, you're like, is that the girl I married? MashaAllah. You know what I'm saying? She can pull out the multiple MashaAllahs on you depending on what her makeup state is. But they put on that attitude, and if you pay attention, they put on an extra attitude when they got that makeup on, when they know they look good. Even with you. Then now you're like, yo, you acting real funny all of a sudden. Like, oh, you got that makeup on, so you got a little attitude now. Now you think you like Miss Thing because you got some makeup on. I seen you naked. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you doing? Delusional. Telling the truth to people who are in a constant state of delusion isn't going to get you far. And that's where we are with a lot of these sisters, unfortunately. They're in a state of delusion. We're trying our best to be good to them. And, I'm not saying lie, but sometimes I think the truth isn't best for them. this is more of a rant. You know, just to follow, excuse me, whoa, just to follow up to that concept and that idea that I was dealing with earlier, that I came across with these women and telling them the truth, and you know, they don't want to hear the truth, they want to be lied to, you know. And I just came to realizations, like, you know, not the realization, just the reminder and remembrance that we're dealing with people, we're dealing with a group of people, aka women, who aren't good with the truth themselves. They're not good at facing the truth themselves. They're not good at facing their own realities. So, yeah, I mean, remember this when you're talking to these women. They're on a different planet, man. Men and women are on a different planet, and our worlds only slightly connect when we get into relationships. Otherwise, man, we're living in different worlds, because we as men are not allowed to be delusional about ourselves, our situation, our condition. Life will be merciless to us if we are. It will not give us a break. It will destroy us. And there's not going to be any white knight female coming in on her white horse to save us from all our bad choices and decisions that came from being delusional. Nobody is coming to save you as a man. Nobody. Women, I think sometimes they make bad decisions because they like the idea of some guy coming in and saving them from all of their bad decisions and choices. But us men, that's not an option for us. So remember that. You looking at grandma, delusional little grandma. Remember that, guys. You're dealing with people of delusion, and you're a man who cannot, under any circumstances, afford to be delusional. And so you're going to have that massive disconnect when you're talking to these sisters. Just remember that, man. You know, 'cause I want your brothers to get married. Well, you got a park next to me, man. I'm grandpa. Say, parking lot's empty, you got a park next to me. Anyways, man, Abuamerican.